Yeah, we're ready to get going.
What do you want? I mean, what do you want to do?
I don't know. We don't have an intro. Now we'll move on to the Marvel news. We're gonna start with the biggest Marvel news that there was, which is what if the T'Challa Wakanda Forever episode
Yeah, it
occurred.
was what if T'Challa became Star Lord?
Yep. What if T'Challa becomes Star Lord, which was awesome. These are be the last performances we see of Chadwick. But yeah, so there was a whole lot of information on there that was actually very, very cool. This one was miles better than the first episode. I thought the pilot, I think I said it last time, was like a 6 out of 10.
The only difference between these two is that the Captain Carter one was very strict to the Steve Rogers storyline.
Yep, it was almost
Like,
watching a remake of the first movie.
yeah, which is cool. There's a bunch of minor differences, but at the same time, like T'Challa as Star Lord is brand new, and it was a brand new story too. Like,
And characters that were in the storylines in the movies took on entirely new roles in this one. Like they didn't
right,
play the same role just for Peggy. Like
yeah,
Nick Fury's role, Bucky's role, like all those roles in the first episode were just the same. The only thing that changed was Peggy Carter, basically, and then
yeah, and then
the
a couple,
doctors were a little bit,
off characters.
um, but this one had a ton of different differences. We're just gonna let's hop right into it. Uh, the first major difference was, so in the beginning, just like in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy, they're trying to get the Infinity Stone, and T'Challa takes the Infinity Stone first. He's smarter with it. He just gets it right away. And then
Right.
Korath the Pursuer, which is played by Jimon Honsu. You guys might know him from Gladiator. He's the voice in How to Train Your Dragon 2. He's the villain. But yeah, I love Jimon
He
Honsu.
is in Guardians. He was in
Yeah,
Captain
when
Marvel. Like,
when Peter Quill calls himself Star Lord, he's the one that's like, who? And
who?
that GIF is used a lot. Um,
He's in Captain Marvel too. It's part of that
but
Kree team, I believe.
but instead he sees him and he goes, oh my god, you're Star-Lord, you're Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Like he's
Right.
super excited, and he knows who he is. The reason he knows who Star-Lord is because now T'Challa as Star-Lord is a famous intergalactic philanthropist instead of like a typical Ravager, the way Peter Quill was, where he's kind of like a bad guy, where they were more like looters.
Right.
T'Challa is like famous as an intergalactic philanthropist. Like he does good as a
Yeah,
Ravager.
the Ravagers would take jobs and do the dirty deeds to, better themselves, whereas T'Challa and the Ravagers now, or in that universe, would take from the rich and give to the poor. So
Right, and which after a short fight scene with Korath, he picks up Korath and takes him because he's like, I've hired worse, as in he's
right.
going to take, because he liked the interaction with Korath. So he comes out, Yondu does his sick kill everybody with his arrow.
The Yaka arrow.
Yaka arrow. I love Yondu so
Yeah.
much. Anyway, comes out and we find out in the following scene, now that Korath is part of the Ravager group, that Yondu and T'Challa are actually Ravagers for good. And not only did they take in Korath, but another person that they end up showing right away that has joined the Ravagers is the Mad Titan himself.
Yeah.
Thanos is a Ravager, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I loved
it.
It
was really weird. See, I was like, wait,
yeah.
he's just like, and especially because Nebula's there too, and Nebula's like, they have a fine relationship too.
It's like not like she's clear. She says she's not okay with it, really, but like,
yeah,
they're still
it's
not
a better
very
relationship
close.
than what they have. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Now it's not a relationship based on fear.
yeah.
But yeah, so Thanos is there, which is so awesome. It was really fun. It's Josh Brolin again, so like it was really cool to see Thanos there. And we find out that T'Challa convinced him not to do the snap and look for the Infinity Gauntlet, and like because they convinced him that's genocide, which he still doesn't believe it's genocide. He considers it like an efficient,
and just that running joke throughout the whole thing. Like,
yeah, they bring that up multiple times. They call him like Mr. Genocide, but yeah, Thanos is part of it, and I thought that was really awesome. So that's another big thing, and now Thanos is like part of the good guys, and that's weird. Like you said, it's weird.
just a Keep going, keep going.
Well, the main thing he told Thanos was that you can redistribute riches instead of just trying to delete everything and share the current riches.
Even though he's like, I still think it's more efficient or whatever.
Then during their little talk, because Korath, now that he's new, asked them like, "What's your favorite missions you've done?" And they mentioned 2, which I couldn't find any like major connections to. So it's something that we might hear about in the future, which was the Krillorian Dying Star mission, and then the Ankoran Resistance. So I think they wouldn't bring that up just out of the blue unless it had a connection to something. So I'm going to do some more research to try to figure that out, but I couldn't find anything between yesterday and today.
They've got 3 galactic movies coming out. You know, They got Love and Thunder. They've got
Captain Marvel.
Guardians. Oh yeah, they got the Marvels. They got that's another one. They got Guardians 3 and the Guardians Christmas special. So they got 4 projects.
And Secret Invasion is
Secret Invasion. 5.
So they have a ton of space stuff. So I think like keep your eye on Ankoran Resistance and Krylorian Dying Star, because especially with Eternals, where we'll talk about that in a bit, but we saw somebody potentially creating a galaxy. Those are often created by dying stars. Anyway, we might hear about that in the future. And then we also find out like T'Challa was abducted instead of Peter Quill, because their vibranium meteorite that Wakanda is built on was sending the same signals as Peter's body.
Celestial,
which I think is insane. That means Peter gives off enough celestial energy to equal
the country of Wakanda.
Then the entire country of Wakanda. He gives off a similar. So like that was my takeaway. Like while that was a cool little tidbit, my first thought was, wait, Star-Lord gives off enough celestial energy to rival an entire meteorite worth of vibranium, which was also mentioned in the Eternals trailer.
Yeah, so, that's something too. Yeah.
So anyway, he leaves the force field for a second, and then he gets abducted by the Ravagers, and then he's not scared of them, and he just joins them, and Yondu takes him under his wing. Another difference that was huge was Drax's wife and daughter, when they're at the club and they're all like reminiscing and talking, and we meet Nebula eventually. Drax's wife and daughter are alive now because T'Challa saved them from Ronan, which means Ronan was defeated by the Ravagers instead of the Guardians. And it also means that Moondragon, which is Drax's daughter, is a potential that we might see. For those of you who don't know, Drax's daughter eventually becomes Moondragon, which is like her hero name.
Which she still is going to exist in our universe. Like she's gonna exist in our universe too. It's just I believe his wife is alive in that universe. But
I thought that was really cool. I liked that change. It wasn't Bautista. Well, he wasn't the voice, but it was good. My favorite little talk there. So everybody knows by now, or should know by now, Venom is my favorite. Like I love Venom. Moondragon and Drax, one of their biggest storylines in the comics was Venom taking over both of them.
So they go to Nowhere in this as well, and Nowhere is a celestial that was decapitated by Null. And Null creates the symbiotes, or he uses the first symbiote, which is all black, the Necro Sword, which is probably going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. There's just a bunch of connections all over the place.
Yes. So
I hate to spin this web, but
so Moondragon potentially can connect with Venom, which connects with Null, and Nowhere, which connects with Thor: Love and Thunder. It's awesome. So I was very happy when I heard that Drax's family was alive, because that means a whole bunch more for nerdy people like us.
Right.
Like we mentioned, Nebula and T'Challa are together. I had a little different.
Your notes. Your notes here says something a little NSFW, but
my notes had a little. It's clear that T'Challa and Nebula have a romantic interest. So let's just say that. And she has hair now. She has long blonde hair instead of being bald. And it's clear she's still a double, triple, quadruple, quintuple agent. She still doesn't trust anybody and nobody can really trust her except clearly T'Challa. Cha-Cha. She calls him Cha-Cha. But yeah, and then there were a whole, so those are all the things like the major differences they hit you with right away.
Sure.
Then they go into like the whole premise of the episode, which is trying to gather these embers of Genesis, which we find out have enough power to like basically
rebuild life on a planet.
Rebuild life on a planet, and all it takes is a couple like ounces to rebuild an entire planet.
Yeah.
So they plan to take some from the Collector, but the Collector's still at nowhere. But this is not the Collector that we saw in the movies.
This is what happens when Thanos doesn't get the power.
Absolutely, because Thanos didn't.
Tavon.
Yeah, Tavon, Tenavir Tavon, or Telavir Tavon. He saw the void created by Thanos going good, and he took over. He now controls the Black Order. They are his
minus Supergiant.
But the Black Order now respond to him. They're like his bodyguards, basically. And he is like more like the comic Collector, where he uses his collection as weapons. He uses it to like build himself up and be this like a lot cooler. Like Benicio del Toro.
He's along the same. He should be. I think they're Titans as well.
Right. He should because he's huge. He's ripped. Like, this is the way I imagined him. Like, when I saw him in the movies, I was like, this is kind of a...
Yeah, I mean, Benicio del Toro is a very, like...
Yeah.
He's a great actor, but, like, don't get me wrong, but he played his character... It's a Benicio del Toro Collector. It's very much a Benicio del Toro collector.
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, Benicio, whatever.
We were the beneficients of his acting in this.
Yeah, but we're the beneficio of Benicio.
Yeah. But yeah, so his voice stuck with this. This played like... This was where he should be. Like, him being animated was way better.
Sure.
But because we got to see the Collector, we actually got to see a whole bunch of stuff that was from Guardians, like the additional Easter eggs and those sorts of things. I did want to go over some Easter eggs quick because there were a lot. So there was a couple Easter egg quotes, which the first one that I noticed was, which all this stuff is my own research. I purposefully this time around did not do any like check out other YouTube channels, nothing like this. Is all stuff I
knowledge
noticed,
all up here,
all off the top of the dome. So it is not an official title, nor one I am comfortable with. Is what when he's called Star-Lord and he wants to like bow to him. When Korath calls T'Challa Star-Lord when they first meet, and he wants to bow to him, T'Challa says that's a title I'm not comfortable with, and it's not an official title, which he says in Black Panther when they call him King.
Yeah.
So that was a callback to there. That was a little Easter egg. Thanos, when he fights the Black Order, he fights Proxima Midnight and Black Dwarf 2 versus 1.
It's wait, it's not Black Dwarf anymore. It's
the caption said Black Dwarf.
Did it? Okay, well, they didn't go with that one. They went with Cull Obsidian, I think.
Okay. Well, in the captions, he was captioned as Black Dwarf, so that's what I wrote down.
I had an issue with that fight scene. Okay. Thanos beat the holy daylights out of Hulk.
Yeah,
but he did not use the Power Stone to beat Hulk.
Correct.
So he should have been able to handily beat Cull Obsidian, like straight up. He should have been able to beat him.
But Proxima Midnight is incredibly powerful.
Right. She's strong too. But I mean, like, I feel like Thanos was weaker than the Thanos we got.
Right. Yep. So I thought the same thing, that he shouldn't have been able to get beat up so easily. But before they fight, Nebula calls him crazy for trying to stand back and fight. And he turns and he goes, not crazy, mad. Yeah. So it's a call to him being called the Mad Titan.
Yeah.
That's a huge Easter egg that I think is really fun.
I called that too. I said it.
Yeah, same. As soon as he said it, I was like, oh, here he's gonna say mad.
Yeah.
Mad. Another thing. So after, like, near the end of the episode, there's a little conversation that the Ravagers are having where they're talking about jump ports. It's Sean Gunn, his character, is saying jump ports are jump ports are super fun. They twist your face up pretty bad though. And anybody that saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2 They go through a jump
It's
port.
like 900 ports to get to Egos.
Yeah, and Raccoon and Yondu, all their faces
Yeah.
get messed up. So that's kind of like a call to that movie, and like
Yeah, it happens.
So that's a little Easter egg there. And then the last quote that was an Easter egg that is a little bit of a different Easter egg. All the rest will be like physical things that we saw. Was Yondu, when he's talking about we steal from the rich and give to the needy with T'Challa, he mentions that Earth guy from your stories, Robin Leach. And he's like, no, he corrects him saying Robin Hood. And I immediately was like, that Robin Leach is on purpose. Robin Leach, for those of you who don't know, had the TV show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. He also has multiple famous quotes on money and fame. He had his first $1 million when he was 31 years old. He says things like, it's not fair to attack the rich because they earned their money.
Great little callback, just due to the fact that they're going to invade the collector's place. Or
they're going to invade the collector. They're comparing it to like stealing from the rich people and attacking the rich.
Richest of the rich.
Exactly. So it wasn't a accidental mistake or anything like that. That saying Robin Leach was absolutely purposeful. I turned to the closed captions on, and when he says Robin Leach, it is capitalized and spelled the same way as Robin Leach.
Sure.
So it was absolutely on purpose. So we finished like all the big like quote Easter eggs. Now I'd like to go for like, so when they were looking for the embers of Genesis at the collector's place, when they were like there in nowhere, they're walking through his place and they see a bunch of other Easter eggs. So Howard the Duck is there. They interact with him, and it's voiced by Seth Green. Recognize it immediately. There is a character. He's an American Dad, and he plays a character named Anton Ego. Not Anton Ego. That's from Ratatouille. Aton Cohen. And he uses that exact same voice for Howard the Duck. And so we started talking, and I was like, what is that, Aton? And I was like, okay, that's Seth Green. And I looked it up. Yeah, that's Seth Green. So I think that's an awesome casting for Howard the Duck. And it was really good. So that was a fun like character to put in.
Do we know if that was Howard the Duck from Guardians?
It's probably the same one, but I don't think it was the same voice. I'm not sure. I should check that. But Cosmo the Space Dog was another one. Which at the end of the episode, spoiler.
He's like a telepathic dog. Like telepathy.
He can talk to you, and they brought him aboard the ship. Yondu took him in. So he might come in, and we might get to hear who voices him as a telepath. So that could be fun. Now there was a lot of Skrull, but there was what looked like the main Skrull from Captain Marvel was there, like the yellowish green looking guy with can't think of his name.
Talos?
Yeah, it looked like him. Yeah, Talos. It looked like him. So it could have been him. It could have just been some other groups of Skrull. And then when they fight the Collector, there was also the Grandmaster ship, which is his cousin.
Yep, brother.
Played by Jeff Goldblum in the movies. But Grandmaster's ship was there as well.
There's a dark elf too.
And there's a dark elf, which is from Thor 2.
The best Marvel movie.
Yeah, right up there with like Iron Man 2 and
Black Widow.
Spider-Man 3. Then when they're fighting the Collector, there's another handful of Easter eggs because he brings out like this weapons chest to choose what he wants to fight them with. And there are, just from the ones I noticed, he obviously calls attention to a couple of them, but Hela's crown and her Asgardian sword from Hell. There's a dark matter dagger from the Dark Elves, made up entirely of dark matter. Cap's shield, I thought that was interesting because does that mean in this universe that the Avengers weren't formed because the Ravagers are doing so much good that the Avengers were defeated? And we don't know. And maybe he defeated Peggy Carter. It didn't look like Peggy Carter.
Does this mean that like Loki and the Chitauri never invaded Earth?
Right. So interesting. I would like to find more about that. Ronan's hammer, which we already knew from earlier in the episode, Ronan was defeated by the Ravagers, which means the Ravagers most likely sold them at one point Ronan's hammer.
Sure.
So Ronan's hammer was there. Mjolnir. So that's another Avenger that their weapon of choice is there. So that means Thor, or maybe these
Thor could have Stormbreaker too. You don't know.
He could now have Stormbreaker. That could be Valkyrie Mjolnir, or that could be Cap was using his shield and Mjolnir.
Yeah,
like it could be that. But yeah, Mjolnirs these could be multi-dimensional. So it could be Throg's Mjolnir. Like,
yeah. Oh, actually, just what was this? When they were doing the explanation of when speaking of Collector.
Yep.
Then this calls back to the whole thing. They confirmed that when they were doing this Loki finale, and they were showing the one black hole, and they came out of the black hole and they went into the other black hole. There was a ship that flew by, and that ship was they're like, you've seen this ship before, trust me. That ship that flew out of the one black hole into wherever it was going was the Collector's ship. So now, are they saying that in our timeline, the Collector can transfer multiverses because that was his ship? They confirmed you've seen the ship before. You can go back and rewatch it, but when that scene where they're coming out of the black hole and then they go into the other black hole, that there you see a ship fly by. They do the explanation of there's like all the voiceovers and stuff. There's like I can't name any because I'm not smart, but you know what I mean. You watch that one. Watch that little part again.
And what was that in again?
I want to say it was the Loki, right at the start of the Loki finale. They talked about
the finale. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. I think that makes a ton of sense, because then you could explain why he has so much stuff, because there might be just doubles of a lot of these things.
Yeah, has the Collector collected something in his time that can make him safely transfer to a different universe?
If he's the most powerful person in this universe, then I would assume so. So yeah, my first thought was that it was a Mjolnir from another timeline. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to lift it.
Yeah, want a timeline where he's worthy.
Right. And then the last thing I noticed was one of Loki's daggers, or at least a dagger that looked just like what Loki uses.
Yeah. Did you know that Mjolnir weighs like 42.3 pounds?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Twitter.
I think I retweeted it or liked it or something. Yeah, so it's not the fact that it's heavy, even though 40 pounds is heavy for me because I'm weak. But yeah, you straight up have to be worthy in order to lift it. So
makes a ton of sense. And I immediately always think of the Spider-Man picture of Mjolnir upside down on top of the toilet, and Spider-Man standing next to the toilet wanting to use it. So I thought of that right away. 42 pounds holding that lid down. Yeah, that was it for the like Easter eggs that I could find off the top of my dome. One little change that happened in this episode is Karina, basically his slave, the pink-skinned lady that we saw in Guardians. She gets her justice this time around. T'Challa is able to get the Collector into one of his cages with the help of Yondu and
the sticky fingers or whatever, which I think was like a callback to doing Get Help, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. It's a callback. That's another little like callback, and they do sticky fingers where Yondu fights physically with the Collector. As he's getting beat, he takes the Collector's glove that's controlling everything, which is basically like Syndrome, and they get him in one of his cages. They give the glove to Karina, and then Karina lets everyone else out. And the last we see of the Collector is every one of his people that he has had collected and in their little cage is walking towards him in his cage, and he's basically I gave you a roof over your head. He's basically begging for his life, and so he's probably gonna die in this universe. But we didn't see him die. One of the big rules is
the Saw 101.
Yeah, if you didn't see the character die, they're
Walking Dead. Walking Dead. If you don't see them,
they're not
Game
dead.
of Thrones.
Last, we're just gonna go over like all the new things that have been established because of this What If episode. The Embers of Genesis, I don't think we've seen them anywhere before. Probably just the comics, maybe not even there. They were held, first of all, in the Collector's place. They were held in the Cosmic Flora section. So they are a flower / spore. They were past the frost giants, referencing Loki and Laufey. Cronus, which is a mention of the Cronins. Or it was past the Cronins, and it was past Elvish literature. So that's Dark Elf. So again, Dark Elf reference, Cronin reference, Frost Giant. So that all
Thor's world. Thor's
again
kind of
pointing
world.
towards Thor, which is what we've been like kind of talking about this whole time. We've mentioned it. They've had a lot of connections.
Yeah, he said Thor. He got that arm or that something from a very chatty Cronin, which I assume to be Korg.
Korg Taika Waititi's character. I would assume that very chatty Cronin is also Korg. They mentioned Cronins at least 4 times in the episode, so I do think there's going to be a connection to Thor: Love and Thunder, which means we're probably going to see the Thor What If episode soon. And then the last couple things, there was a dedication to Chadwick Boseman at the end of the episode that gave me like chills and then got me a little choked up, because this is genuinely the last time we might hear his voice in something new. So yeah, that was really sad. And then Jeffrey Wright was the voice of the Watcher.
I think on the Chadwick front, it's first of all, like we have another friend, we have a friend named Sam, and his favorite character is Black Panther. So I know it hit him hard. It hit kind of everyone hard. And the person coming in to either fulfill the next Black Panther role, whether it's Shuri or Michael B. Jordan or Regé-Jean Page or whoever, M'Baku, whoever that is, it's not that Chadwick didn't do a good job because he did an amazing job. It's just Chadwick would want that too. Chadwick would want someone to one of his favorite cast members to keep telling that story.
And he means a lot to the Marvel community. He means a lot to the like African American, like the Black community. Chadwick meant a lot to a lot of different people. So it's overall one of the saddest passings. And yeah, so that dedication was important. And
he was actually one of the first people to sign on to do What If too, because he probably knew that he didn't have that much time left, and he wanted to.
He also wanted to change the character.
Yeah, he wanted T'Challa to be as inspiring as possibly can.
Which based on this episode, that's working. Jeffrey Wright is the voice of the Watcher. He plays, for those of you who don't recognize the name, if you've seen Hunger Games, he plays Beetee, like the Wires and Beetee combination.
He's also playing Detective Gordon in The Batman.
Yes. He's a great actor. I thought that casting, I just wanted to throw that out there. Like Seth Green was a great casting. And
Jeffrey Wright, Jeffrey Wright. Also I'd love to see Jeffrey Wright as a live action Watcher too.
Oh, for sure. The very last thing, which is huge, and the episode ended on a cliffhanger. Peter is picked up at Dairy Queen.
He's still using Dairy Queen from the Guardians 2 when they go back in time or whatever.
He's wearing his same headphones, and the person he's picked up by isn't a person at all. It's a living planet.
Yeah, Ego, the living planet.
Ego, his dad is able to. Ego actually is able to successfully get Peter without his Star-Lord reputation, and he hasn't gotten his Chris Pratt 6-month bulk up yet.
No.
So,
but in this universe, let's see that the most powerful being right now just got beaten. Okay, so the most powerful being just got beaten. So now the universe is up for grabs. And, Ego's planet of getting Peter to sustain himself, essentially, and overtake this entire universe, and now it's possible in this universe. So that's a whole scary thing that could possibly happen in a What If season 2 if they continue these individual storylines.
That's probably going to happen. I'm excited for it. I think that's all we got for What If. Do you have anything else?
Would you rather them continue these? So they're 9-episode seasons.
Yep.
Would you rather them continue the individual storyline? So like you're going to get episode 1 next What If is going to be a Captain Carter season 2 thing, or like this, like the continuation of the Captain Carter story, or would you rather them bring in new ones and then continue ones like say that have a cliffhanger like this. Because I mean, Captain Carter's story, you could assume it just no, because she popped out in present day. So you can continue that storyline. Would you rather them continue that storyline, or would you rather them make just 9 brand new what ifs and kind of leave it up to interpretation for us? Or would you rather see those stories continue in these separate multiverses?
I would like to see these stories continue because they haven't really wrapped up. Like you can't end an episode on a cliffhanger like they have been and not continue it.
All right.
So I'd rather continue. I don't want 9 separate shows. So I say continue doing it this way. So I think it's easier
for the visual. what if as open to interpretation at the end.
Because a large part of Marvel and Disney's marketing is like what we're doing now, like talking about it.
Sure.
And I think leaving open-ended and doing like one episode that continues the storyline every season keeps everybody talking about it. Like now is Ego successful? Does he take over? Like, is he successful now?
What does the Avengers initiative look like now with Captain Carter? Obviously Hawkeye's there. Is
Captain America dead because we saw his shield? Was Thor defeated?
Sure.
Like people we can
if
talk about.
Thor and Hela are defeated, does that mean Odin's defeated? Does Asgard even exist? Like,
is Asgard gone? Is Asgard under rule of Jane Foster? Is Asgard under rule by Valkyrie?
Surtur destroy it? You don't know.
Yeah.
So I think I'm with you. I think I'd rather see new things. Just new things, and then maybe one or a handful of them are a continuation of the previous what if, I guess.
Yeah. Agreed. Similar to like the actual comic books. So yeah. Cool. I'd go with the new stuff. That's it for what if. Speaking of 9, you said 9 episodes. Speaking of 9, Marvel announced not too long ago that they had 9 unnamed Marvel products. 9 plus. We tried to think about what could those 9 plus be. We have quite a list, but
let's go over the one. There's one that we can confirm is, I guess, an unnamed, but it would be in a future project that is not confirmed to be in production. Like
Deadpool 3,
like
you mean?
Deadpool 3. Like, it's not like they did a Disney Investor Day and said this is coming out, this is coming out, this is coming out. They haven't done that for this. It's just basically been like, yeah, we're working on it. So
yeah. So on August 19th, they came out and saying, which is today for us, they have officially started working with Ryan Reynolds on writing and stuff for Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
So Deadpool 3 should be in the works soon.
It definitely doesn't have to be a Deadpool 3. It's just it's because it's Deadpool's first MCU origin. Yep. So yeah, so that's the one we can confirm. We have like 12
other probably ones? The working title will probably be Deadpool 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, obviously we're all excited for that, because if Deadpool exists, that means mutants exist, even though we had 2 mutants in our MCU already, but they're not classified as mutants.
Yeah. Speaking of mutants, another one that I think would be big is X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men. I know I remember seeing something in regards to like a Weapon X Disney Plus show, which kind of explains that.
Weapons X and Weapons Plus.
Yeah, so in our MCU, or in the Incredible Hulk or Hulk, General Everett Ross. Is it Everett Ross or something like that?
General Ross.
He is working with a Weapons Plus program, and essentially it's to create super soldiers. He's trying to mimic creating the super soldiers, and he starts with Banner's DNA. It probably goes into Cap's line somewhere. It probably goes into the Weapons X program, or the Weapons Plus program, which created Wolverine and Deadpool and X-23, stuff like that. So yeah.
Is it X-Men Origins Deadpool?
Yeah, hopefully. That's the only Deadpool I can really confirm it. Oh, there is another thing we can confirm. Season 2 of What If. That's confirmed. So we just talked about that.
And season 2 of Loki.
And season 2 of Loki,
which they said will begin production between 2022 and 2023.
Yeah. So
that'll be a while out till we get it, but it'll be there.
Right. So
for X-Men, outside of Weapon X and Weapons Plus, I think my dream would be it's a TV show, like a series.
Do you think X-Men is Disney Plus would be too small? Or like too small of a like kind of outlet for it? Like
almost exactly half of what Black Widow earned was Disney Plus.
Yeah, but so I mean like would you rather reveal the X-Men in like a movie?
Yeah, but I mean you could also so my dream would be that it'd be a series.
Okay.
Like because X-Men is too big of a
there's
big of a franchise.
There's arguably more mutants than there are Avengers, or like, you know what I mean?
Other like superheroes. Yeah, like there's more mutants than like anything else. Like you could, I think so. You could do a series of X-Men movies that would be not have to be on Disney Plus.
Sure.
I think that'd be fine. Like you could do a trilogy, 3 trilogies. Like you could do like what Star Wars is doing and do 25 trilogies.
Right.
So you could do that, and I think that's one way to do it. You could do a series on Disney Plus where maybe it's focused around the Xavier School for Extraordinary Gifted Kids.
Gifted youngsters, yeah.
Gifted youngsters. You could do like a series on like basically the everyday life in class where it's kind of set up kind of like a 90s or early 2000s cartoon, but it's not a cartoon, where there's like a different villain every few episodes that they fight. Like the story revolves around them fighting a villain.
Sure.
And then it's a few episodes. Like you could do that. I thought that's what I would want personally.
I think with the Weapons Plus Weapons X type thing, it would be essentially Ross going through all these different like kind of like variations, and then you could have him by the end of it turn into Red Hulk, or you could have him say we finally have a successful one or whatever, and that would be Weapon X or Wolverine, but it would just hint at it. It would just hint at it. So you could get just going through all of that. It'd just be, you know, backstory filler or whatever, and you'd have by the end of it, you know, Wolverine would be teased. I don't know how you,
and that extends your time on selecting your Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because it has to be, you have to try to at least get close to Hugh Jackman. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So I think if they were to do X-Men and you do the movie way, which is probably the smartest, biggest money earning way, which is probably why that's the way they'll do it. You could do solo, similar to like the Avengers. Like Loki is a huge product, but he's just on Disney Plus because it's just a solo thing. I thought that they could do solo X-Men shows and then have like the big ones in movies. So the 3, I just decided, because you could literally do 50 of them.
Right.
I decided my top 3 that I would want to see.
Staying away from Phoenix, right? They've done that a million times.
Yeah. Nightcrawler.
Okay.
Wolverine.
Yep.
And Rogue.
Okay. I know Rogue was kind of rumored to be in Captain Marvel 2, which is now the Marvels.
And I want it to be comic book Rogue, not
where she takes Captain Marvel's or Carol Danvers' powers for a while, and then
where she can basically absorb powers and use them for an extended period of time. Not I touch you, I basically kill you by touching you, and I get your powers only while I'm touching you. Like, I hated that. Like it made Rogue almost seem like her power was terrible and stupid. When in the comic book, Rogue was one of the primary X-Men because she was so powerful. So I would want that. And Nightcrawler, you could cast, you could have a diverse casting. You could have a huge backstory because he travels the world. He has a point where he's like evil. You have
Bamf that you can't really bring into the live action. Him doing his Bamf where he's gonna rip someone's head off.
Where he teleports, grabs somebody's head, teleports away, and takes the head but leaves the body. You could and then Wolverine, obviously, because he's
the So what I would like to see is an X-Men team. Obviously Charles Xavier is the lead, like Charles Xavier was the leader of that, right? And with the rumors of Doctor Strange 2, more rumors for Doctor Strange 2 of him possibly doing like an Illuminati, get my quotes in here, type thing, where it would have the leaders of these said groups come together. Yeah, it's really close. Come together, so it'd be, Reed Richards, possibly Charles Xavier, Black Panther, Namor, whoever's leading the Avengers at the time, Captain or Sam Wilson, maybe. Yeah.
More on that later.
And then I would like to see a more Cyclops focused story.
Please.
He is the leader.
Please, Scott Summers.
Yeah, he is the leader of the X-Men, so like he's the Captain America of, if there was a Avengers battle or like the Thanos battle at the end, it would be Scott Summers being like, X-Men assemble. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yep. X-Men, it would be Scott Summers, and it's Cyclops and Storm are.
Yep, they're like the leaders, and then
they're the leaders.
Yep, and then
they're not just teachers.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, that's, I think, out of the X-Men, it'd be Weapon X, Weapons Plus, and then those are the solos could be shows. The big movies could be the actual like X-Men series.
Sure. So let's take the most popular Netflix ones.
Yep.
I think those would the most popular Netflix Marvel shows, because I think those would very easily translate to a 4th season or 3rd season respectively.
At minimum, Daredevil.
Yeah, so Daredevil is the most popular one. It's just brilliant all the way around. Charlie Cox is the perfect casting.
Yep.
Basically anyone that was in that series was pretty perfect casting.
Kingpin.
You've got Kingpin. You've got John Bernthal as Punisher. More on that later. You've got Elektra, which is, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't Jennifer Garner. So
it was better than Jennifer Garner's.
Yep. You've got who plays Foggy Nelson was great. Yeah, who plays, I think her name's like Kate something. She's in all the series. No, that's not her. I forget her name. I could look it up. Karen plays Karen. Her name's Karen. She's in all of the Netflix series. So yeah, I think Daredevil would be the great choice, and then Punisher would be second. I know you want to bring in John Bernthal as Punisher most likely.
I want Punisher. If I were to pick any, it would be Daredevil and then Punisher. And then obviously there's going to be a sneak peek of Iron Fist at the end of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that's
so
the only reason you can get a deafeningly loud reaction.
Yeah,
that excites me so much, because I don't think they're doing Premiere Access.
Nope. Shang-Chi is theater only.
So. Yeah. So and then Defenders, we thought if they're, I think we're gonna get rumored to get Kristen Ritter back in possibly She-Hulk series. She's a private eye, could go good with a lawyer type person.
Sure.
And then that would leave the other 2 Defenders, which would be Luke Cage and Iron Fist. There's probably 190% chance that Finn Jones doesn't come back as Iron Fist.
Especially after those recent remarks saying that he didn't try.
Yeah, he didn't try. Like basically, the person who played Colleen Wing, they were like, we love her. She trains 4 hours a day. She's some of the best scenes were with her in it. So, and then Luke Cage, even though Mike Coulter did great as Luke Cage, he still is kind of like, he saw Mahershala Ali's Cottonmouth. And so I don't think they'll bring him back either, because he's gonna see Blade and be like, you're
Cottonmouth, aren't you?
Yeah. So I think they're just gonna recast both of those, and then they could do a Heroes for Hire thing with both of those guys. So
I definitely think Heroes for Hire is one of the ones that they'll do. Another group of people they might do, there's a huge amount of rumors for Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of rumors for Young Avengers.
Yeah. They're leading into both of those. The writing's on the wall, basically. So.
Yeah, so I honestly think both of those are coming for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if I'd be confident enough to say 99% chance that those 2 happen.
Yeah, sometime in the future.
One that I am confident will happen, I'm just not as confident, is Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns, I think that could be movie based too.
Yeah, and I think that's more likely to be like
down the line.
Yeah, like here's like X-Men and then here's like, I don't know,
The first project we're getting of that is the first one we're getting of that is Moon Knight. That's the first thing we're getting of that, and that's in.
And then it would be like Young Avengers, and then it'd be like Midnight Suns. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it would happen. We'll talk more about that.
We talked about Werewolf by Night last week, I think.
We did.
Yep. So,
and there's something that happened in the Eternals trailer that we'll talk about that connects to that. So a little more confidence in it could happen. And then a couple more. There was only a couple more left. Secret Wars is one that has been like heavily rumored. I don't know too much about it. It's basically just a war that people were grabbed from all over by
the Beyonder
and put together to fight a giant war.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about that. I had one that I kind of like made up myself.
Like recently?
No, it's Hail Hydra.
The Hail Hydra. Okay.
So I called it Hail Hydra. I don't know what it would actually be called, but they mentioned Hydra and everything. Like, it's clear that they're working on Hydra to either be in the movies.
Hydra still exists.
And Hydra still exists.
Cut one head off, two more will spawn in its place. So.
Exactly. And I think they would definitely do like a Hydra show. So I'm calling it Hail Hydra, but it would basically be Valerie Contessa de Fontaine.
Red Skull is still alive.
Red Skull, Baron Zemo, Dr. Zola, Barton Zola.
Yeah.
And a few others, honestly, like Viper.
Yeah.
I know that is Madam Hydra, but like you'd separate, do
do
so they could do
ones, yeah.
They could do a bunch. So I think there's going to be a Hydra product on the way, not just like for that one, it would probably be told as the point of view of Hydra, which is what I want. I want some more villain point of view.
Sure.
But I think Hydra products are coming. They're just more likely going to show up in actual hero projects.
Sure.
But I would love to see like an actual Hydra project.
I don't know. Hydra could appear in Shang-Chi just because there is a giant battle of
there's a good
powered individuals. One of those individuals could be powered through Hydra
I wouldn't be surprised if Valerie shows up if she's like the Nick Fury of the first phase, showing up in every single post-credit scene.
Meeting with General Ross and Abomination.
We know Shang-Chi has more than one credit scene, so
yeah.
And then the last thing is a Ravager series, like a series, because James Gunn and the guy who plays Merle,
Michael Rooker.
I can never remember his Michael Rooker.
Great friends,
and they both just said we want to do more stuff together, more Marvel stuff together. Which Marvel stuff means more Yondu.
I think you got to do the whole Ravager storyline when he took Peter Quill.
Yep.
When he took Quill and he got ousted by that other group of Ravagers, like the main Ravagers, and then just him kind of dealing with the repercussions of that. You know, you could have,
or you could do
recruiting. Recruiting Craiglin. Recruiting Taserface, you know what I mean? Like all these other guys.
Recruiting Thanos.
With T'Challa, you know.
But yeah, I think those are like the most likely or ones that I want out of the 9+ unnamed Marvel projects.
Yeah, there is I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up real quick, actually.
Let us know if you have any unnamed projects in the comments that you would like to see. Like if you have any you'd like to see in the future, let us know.
I don't know. They were going to do. Remember back in the day, they had that. They were doing like a special series. They were trying to cast like Squirrel Girl. Remember that back in the day? They were rumored to that. I think that's another project that could eventually come along.
Please give us Squirrel Girl and
Girl, and I want Speedball turns into Penance.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm not as excited for that one, but that'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean those are just like two characters that I believe are in that would be sweet to see. Another one I saw today actually was that they could possibly be working on a Disney Plus show with Nova, Richard Rider Nova, and then
I saw Brandon Davis, the big Marvel guy on Twitter, made a comment about that as well.
Yeah, so Nova with Adam Warlock as the villain / anti-hero type thing. Because I think James Gunn said that Adam Warlock doesn't necessarily have to be the villain in his third one.
Right.
But Adam Warlock exists in our universe, so that would be sweet. That'd be cool.
Agreed. But yeah, like I said, if you have any other ideas for Unnamed or what you think of those, let us know in the comments or Twitter, either or. I'm fine with.
Yeah.
That's all I have for that. Yeah. So we can now move on. We have one other major Marvel thing that's going on. We're going to talk about that next. We just have a couple quick hitter Marvel news that we'd like to cover first. Little transition stuff. So Rudy Pankow and Chloe Bennett are both canceling a lot of
events. That's a good
events
word.
that they're supposed to be doing due to scheduling conflicts. And now is when filming is happening for Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that both of them are filming Secret Invasion, which
doing that. Yeah. So people don't know, Chloe Bennett plays Agent Daisy Johnson in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Quake.
Or Quake. And then Rudy Pankow is rumored to play Hulkling, which Secret Invasion is about Skrulls invading Earth. Hulkling is a Skrull Kree offspring. And so take
himself as a young Hulk.
Yeah. It's like So who knows?
Yeah. Other things, Moon Knight's costume got leaked.
Supposedly leaked.
Based off of what I saw, I'm fine with it. It's a nice little twist.
I'm fine with it. That's him like in a hotel room getting a picture taken of him. You know what I mean? On like a mobile phone. If you see it in action, I bet it looks
with movie effects and everything on it.
Yeah, with how Marvel has done with costumes so far in Phase 4, I imagine it's gonna look.
I would like it to be brighter. It was really gray, like dark gray.
Yeah.
I hope that in the final products they brighten it up. Like it's more like your headset. Like I'd like it to be white. Yeah. I'd like
it's like silver white, right?
Yeah.
So
I would like for it to be a lot whiter. So another thing, Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac. The reason he said he rejoined Marvel is because he talked with Feige about joining for Moon Knight, and they're doing something completely different that they've never done before.
Which basically means it's not Fox.
Fox. Very smart by him.
Right.
But yeah, I was excited to hear that because I'm excited for Moon Knight, and something different is always good.
Yeah, it's going to be nothing like you've seen in Marvel before. Hopefully it's going to be on the kind of rated R spectrum type thing, even if they haven't confirmed it. But it's definitely something we've never seen before.
Absolutely. So. Another thing from that is another like touch on What If that we were talking about. Agent Coulson is potentially in episode 3. That could be something. That's just not really tons of news.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd be great to see possibly. I don't know what Clark Gregg's doing right now, but Secret Invasion is filming, so
it's exactly. So get Coulson back for this. Like he's a good actor, so
great actor. A lot of people know his face, and
bring him in for Coulson and put him in Secret Invasion. Like we'll see. Another thing, Wakanda Forever. They have casted an Ironheart, officially confirmed now. So Ironheart will be in Wakanda Forever. That is basically
I think they touched on her in the Disney Plus review, Disney Investor Days.
Yeah,
back whenever they casted Ironheart, but now Ironheart is confirmed to be in Wakanda Forever. I believe she's also confirmed to be in Armor Wars.
Exactly. So she'll except the difference with her is that her suit will most likely be vibranium.
Yeah, and in an Ironheart series. So she's gonna be in 3 projects. And which leads right into
and it was Dominique. I don't want to do this wrong, so I think it was Dominique Thorne has been cast
as Riri Williams.
She will be Riri Williams. So very cool. Another couple signings. Ben Kingsley will be back as his character from Iron Man 2.
Trevor Slattery.
Right, where he was the fake Mandarin.
Yeah, he was just an actor paid
Yeah.
by the 10
Real
Rings, the 10 Rings organization or whatever.
Yeah, and he will be back in Shang-Chi. And then big news of casting was Anthony Mackie has officially signed a new deal, but he didn't sign it as Falcon.
Oh no.
He is signed on for Captain America 4 to be Captain America.
Nice.
There were a lot of people when What If came out that were upset that Peggy Carter was Captain America since Anthony Mackie was only Captain America for a little bit. Well, Anthony Mackie's getting a movie. He's not getting an animated show.
No, good for him. I think that's going to be awesome.
I love Anthony Mackie.
Oh yeah.
Ever since Papa Doc.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Ever since Papa Doc, he's just I thought he's been so good. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for that. And
we're waiting for Bucky to sign on though.
He'll get there. Bucky will sign.
Yeah.
People want him.
People love Sebastian Stan, and I think Sebastian Stan should stay on with Disney in general because I think he would play a amazing young Luke Skywalker. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, he look. If you've ever seen some mock-ups of it, it looks eerily similar to Mark Hamill when he was younger. It looks great.
And then that's it for like our little like bonus stuff of Marvel. The last big thing that we have to talk about Marvel. Oh, wait, while we're still talking about Shang-Chi a little bit, the early records of Shang-Chi, like reports of Shang-Chi have come in. There are 2 post-credit scenes, or at least 2.
At least 2. Someone said one of the
post-credit scenes got a standing ovation.
I'm sure there's a mid-credit and then a post-credit. That's what I would guess.
I'm sure there's an immediate credit, a mid-credit, a post-credit, and then
the No Way Home trailer.
Yeah, and then the No Way Home trailer. No, the trailer of No Way Home is going to come out in the previews of No Way Home.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of them got a standing ovation. You tweeted out, which got some traction, that the only one that would deserve a standing ovation is if the immortal Iron Fist was revealed.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a like from somebody I don't know, so
yeah,
makes a difference.
Was very cool. I would assume that it's some sort of reveal like that, something we haven't seen.
And I don't know what would be that big, because the last big thing that would do that was when Cap got Mjolnir. Like that's when everyone was like, yeah.
And that's the thing, is everybody overreacting because they're trying to create another moment like that, or is it truly standing over? Like nobody's been able to go to movies, everything's been delayed. Like this could just be people overreacting to something that's not that big.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's something as big as Danny Rand,
Fin Fang Foom.
I would also react that way to like Fin Fang Foom, or like opening the dragon realm and like seeing all the dragon.
All right,
like
yeah, because if Shao Lao showed up, people would be like, who the hell is that?
Yeah. Well, Abomination's in it, right?
Yeah, Abomination's in it. Wong it's assumed to be Wong. You see the back of him,
so you could see connections to another thing. So, maybe there's a spider web somewhere. No, like, so I would assume something like that would also be good. Like maybe a reveal.
I hope Valerie Contessa de la Fontaine meets up with A-Bomb. I hope that happens.
Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch walks in and like shows on through a ring.
Yeah.
Like, here's my ring, like,
and then he proposes.
Yeah. But yeah, so something like that would also be worthy. But yeah, just wanted to touch on that. Shang-Chi's coming out and lots of excitement is being built over it. I'm very excited.
They said it's a completely different kind of Marvel movie. They've made nothing like it. So
just like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But the last big thing, the Eternals trailer dropped.
Eternals trailer 2.
The final trailer.
Yeah.
And lots of questions arose from it. Lots of reveals happened in it, including them explaining why the Eternals didn't help Thanos, or help with Thanos.
God, if they helped Thanos, we'd all be doomed.
Yeah. Which the Eternals, that's my issue with them, is they seem like a lot of like overpowered people as opposed to like the Avengers.
Yeah, Icarus had major Homelander vibes for me.
Right. Like they have a lot of very strong people all together. When you look at like Fantastic Four, like Thing is very strong and he's pretty indestructible, but he's not overpowered.
Right.
Human Torch is just really hot.
Right. And he's got flame abilities.
Right, and he can create fire. Invisible Woman can create.
She's probably the strongest. Yeah, she's probably the strongest.
Right, and then like the Avengers, you have like Captain America. There's a super soldier without like.
Yeah.
You have the super strong Thors and like Hulk.
Hulk's right.
But it balances out with Black Widows, Hawkeyes, and Captain Americas.
Right.
Well, the Eternals seems very strong. And it's a bunch of people with like superpowers that are insane. And Angelina Jolie said it was a very difficult thing to film because you don't know if your character's supposed to be holding a sword, a bow, like you don't know.
Well, yeah, and
put your arm out.
Fionna can create weapons out of like thin air. So
right.
what does Fionna want in that moment?
I guess. She's like, you can't see it. So she said it was just very hard. But yeah, so outside of that, also that came out of that was not Galactus. There's a still image of a guy that like a giant being.
Right, when they were talking about the Celestials.
When they're talking about the
Celestials. Cersei is talking to Dane Whitman. Talking to Dane Whitman, and Dane Whitman was like Kit Harington's character, Black Knight, was like, why didn't you help? And he's like, oh, we were told to not interfere unless it was whatever. And it sounds like Dane Whitman's like upset almost, like, why didn't you help us when Thanos came? And she's like, we were told not to interfere. And he's like, by who? And then it showed a picture of Galactus.
Right, a person that everybody's freaking out as Galactus. It's more than likely, what is it? Jemiah? Eson
the Searcher? Or
Eson the Searcher.
Yeah. Which was shown in Guardians 1 or 2 with the Power Guardians 1 because of the Power Stone.
Eson would be one of 4 confirmed Celestials that we have seen or going to see so far. Little background on Eson was that he at first came to Earth in like Miami to protect the undersea deviant legendary Isle of Lemuria, and he just said the next time he'd come back to Earth would be as return for the payments of the gifts that they'd given him. And then his biggest connections, which I thought was the fun part, is like much more cool than Galactus. Like Galactus is awesome, and
Galactus is a ways away. Galactus is going to be a big bad that's past
Thanos
Kang.
level. They build
past Kang. It's going to be past Doom.
Yeah. Yep. So people can get excited, but you're going to see Mephisto and stuff in Doom before you see Galactus, probably. But in my opinion, what is more exciting is Eson is connected to She-Hulk, which we know we're getting.
Yep.
And then Robbie Reyes, which is Ghost Rider.
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider, which he did great.
You and I would want in either Midnight Suns or Multiverse of Madness, or maybe Doctor Strange 3 if they have one. And then the other one is Captain Marvel, which we know we're getting a second Captain Marvel. So 2 people that we are confirmed, and 1 person that's heavily related to characters that we already have.
Yeah, and if they want to do Johnny Blaze, that's okay.
If they do Norman Reedus, it should be Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, and if you know that these other Ghost Riders exist, so like even though Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon, there's another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has to be canon in another multiverse. You know what I mean? Like it had to make a branch timeline at some point, probably when Coulson got resurrected. I don't know, but like Robbie Reyes has to be a person somewhere in the world.
So I think Eson's more excited. Everybody freaked out about Galactus, completely overlooking the fact that is most likely Eson is much cooler and spins a deeper web.
Yeah.
But yeah, not Galactus. I'll say it again, not Galactus.
Yeah.
Crow is another person.
Not a celestial, but he's heavily in this movie.
But yeah, and we've seen Crow, I believe, in Guardians.
No, he's the guy. He's the guy that was like, he looked kind of looks like Corvus, but like he was like touching Angelina Jolie's face.
Yeah,
that's Crow.
But that was another big reveal in that trailer, as well as Jemiah, which is another one of the Eternals.
Celestials.
Celestials, Eternals,
Yep.
Celestials. But yeah, that would be one of the third.
Looks like he was like making.
The rumor or like the leak is that he was making a galaxy.
Right.
He looked like he was creating some sort of matter in his hand. Apparently, the rumors that he was making a galaxy to display powers.
Okay. The third one was nowhere.
The third celestial that we have confirmed that we've seen is nowhere, and Guardians of the Galaxy was the head of it.
How did he die?
From Null, who created all the symbiotes.
Yeah, the first symbiote, All Black, the Necro Sword, was decapitated nowhere. So that's how that's done.
And then the fourth and final one is Ego, the living planet.
Yeah.
So we've seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Fun fact on Ego in Guardians 2, when Ego
is Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it is Kurt Russell, but it also Fox owned Ego at that moment. Fox owned Ego in that moment, and Disney owned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
So they
swapped. They're like, so Fox is like, or Disney called Fox up and was like, hey, we need Ego for a movie. And then they're like, well, we're shooting Deadpool and we need Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And they're like, okay. So they did that swap in order to make that work. That's not a fair
swap.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, Crow is in it as well, but that's not a celestial. And Jemiah is Jemiah the Analyzer. That's the full title. So it would make sense being able to analyze galaxies, planets, whatever. But Isan, just like a couple other like celestials, has no known limit to their power, communicates telepathically, and has an all-seeing eye. That's what they see out of in their left hand. So yeah, just some information on those characters.
It's not Galactus.
It's not Galactus, but there are celestials, which are like some of the most powerful beings ever. Like,
yeah.
So the movie's going to be huge. It's one of those ones, like, not only should you see it in theaters, but yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to have a lot.
You're going to see it and be like, this is nothing like Marvel's ever done.
The one I said that there was like, I don't like the fact that how overpowered everybody seems, but the one positive you get from that is when they all fight, and what fight scenes and like action scenes are gonna be massive, because it's the most powerful like it's unstoppable forces against immovable objects.
Yeah, it's the thing is, I know you said with Captain Marvel you didn't like that, oh, she's so strong, like nobody can beat her.
Right. But like just like Superman.
But at the same time, like, that there's like Captain Marvel, there's someone stronger than Captain Marvel. These Eternals are probably stronger than Captain Marvel. And then it's like, all right, well, the Eternals have no flaws. Well, the Celestials are stronger than them, or any other Eternal with a better skill set could be stronger than them too.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. And like possibly getting an Eternal with a bad person gene, which is called a deviant gene, which they said that they didn't want to interfere unless a deviant was involved. Well, Thanos has a deviant gene, so I don't know why they weren't involved.
Our only like reconciliation there would be that he's so much like so little of a deviant that he's considered just mainly a Titan, so it wasn't worth.
And it also is He Who Remains stronger than the Eternals now? I don't. There's a power influx that needs to be kind of explained going forward. I think.
Was Kang allowing the Eternals to not do anything? Or if Kang tried to interfere with the Eternals, would the Eternals be like, good luck?
What are you doing? Yeah. And then
with the Watchers.
Yeah, I know. There's a little bit of a power influx that needs to be kind of sorted out. But
and then with the Grand Master.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then the other little tidbit I have, one more tidbit, is that in the comics, Fionna, Angelina Jolie's character, and Thanos are first cousins. Right. So both of their dads are brothers. So
another reason why it's like, why aren't we dealing with Thanos? We're related.
Is Fionna just watching her cousin decimate planets, and
Thena's probably going to be the primary character they focus on, because Fionna in the comics is also in a relationship with the general of the Deviants.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name right now, but
Crow.
Yeah,
Crow.
she's in a relationship with Crow.
Yeah, and then Cersei and Icarus are gonna have their like love. Cersei, Icarus, and then Dane Whitman are gonna have like a love triangle.
That was apparently is the premise of the movie, is focusing
Yeah.
around that love triangle.
Yeah.
All right. Then that is it for our Eternals. We had the big news that I think that's huge. What if those unnamed projects and Eternals are like the major things going on with Marvel right now? Yeah, and now we're gonna move on to our local segment. And that's it for local news. Our last little bit is gonna be just like random, some video game stuff, some fun stuff. This segment is brought to you by
we don't have a
we don't
sponsor.
have a sponsor. Yeah. So we'd like to thank our sponsor for our next episode.
When they email us, and if there's a product you want us to conveniently hold in screen, or
maybe one that's like two-sided. Yeah, but yeah, this segment is brought to you by nobody because we have no sponsors or ads. First thing,
but we're here
we're for you. Our first thing is, I'll cover it in a deeper segment on the gaming channel just because it kind of fits that niche a little bit better. But Pokemon Direct happened yesterday. Pokemon Direct, it was 28 minutes, which on normal they're like 14, so it was double what they are on average. Because they have a ton of news. They did a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is the Generation 4 remakes. They did a trailer on that with some gameplay. Legends Arceus, which is it's an open world RPG Pokemon game.
Oh, you can like get attacked by the Pokemon? Is that
you can get attacked by the Pokemon? You can get attacked by wild Pokemon, and if that causes you to faint, you get sent to your Pokemon Center. Like, so they can attack you in the wild, and if you
imagine running into an Onix and then just getting smashed or something, like
right,
crush under the rocks.
There's some wild Pokemon that are aggressive and some that are peaceful, some that try to run. So
birds,
you'll find out which ones based on the ones that charge you and attack you or shock you.
A Taurus or something.
I'm very cool because one of my big things is like some realism to be brought to Pokemon would be having wild Pokemon attack a trainer.
Yeah.
And now when you first started playing Pokemon and Oak says you can't, dangerous to go in tall grass because of wild Pokemon.
No.
We all thought it was a meme. No, it's real.
He knows.
Also with Legends Arceus, they announced a couple new regional variants. There's a new Growlithe that's a rock and fire type. They did not reveal what Arcanine looked like, so I'm interested to see that. There's a new Stantler evolution called Weirdeer, which is ice and normal, I believe. That one looks really cool. There's a new Basculin evolution called Bascu Legion, which Basculin has needed an evolution for super long, so that one looked really cool. It looks like a traditional like Chinese dragon. Very cool looking. Braviary got a regional variant as well, which is a psychic. The region is called Hisuian. It's supposed to be ancient Sinnoh, like from hundreds of years ago, which is Generation 4, but it's called the Hisuian or Hisuian region because it hasn't been changed to Sinnoh yet. Wild Pokemon can attack you. There's two different types of battling styles because now it's turn-based battling. So you can do quick battles where sometimes you might be able to attack 2 times in a row. Otherwise, there's power battle style where you might be able to one-shot somebody, like a wild Pokemon that you might want to knock out for experience.
Sure.
Or quick battle where you're trying to do chip damage and then catch them. So yeah, there's 2 new battle styles. And then it will be eventually compatible with Pokemon Home. So you'll eventually be able to transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go, Sword and Shield into Legends Arceus.
Sure.
So I think that's really cool. And then Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, which Arceus comes out January 28th of 2023. Brilliant Diamond and 2022. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl comes out September 19th of this year. There's going to be the Pokemon Underground, which I'm going to go more into my gaming channel. But then Pokemon are following you again. It's a main series game where Pokemon will be following you, and
sure.
that'll be really cool. That's really it. That's all we need to talk about there. Nothing too exciting. Another quick
thing. Can I just say a Pokemon thing? Yeah. I played a game of Pokemon Unite when my buddy was over here.
Pokemon.
I played a game of Pokemon Unite when you're over here, and I didn't the very first game I had no idea what was going on. Picked Crustle, and we didn't know what was.
So as Crustle, you start out as Dwebble though, right? And you
No.
evolve to Crustle. You start out as Crustle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they have a rotation, or you can like probably purchase them with like earnable currency.
Yep.
But so we were losing the whole game. There was a Wigglytuff on the other team that was just destroying everyone.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, once I started to get the hang of it, I was like, all right, I understand like what I'm doing here. It's kind of hard to play a MOBA on not a computer.
Yep.
So but
and a mobile version's coming out in like a month.
Yeah, September something. So yeah, it's hard to play a MOBA on something that's not a computer, but I ended up there. I saw that earlier. I was gonna say something. No, but they have this like what people would be considered as like the Baron, right?
Zapdos.
Like, Zapdos, right? And ended up stealing that with like a little thing that like goes like a rock smash. It was like, and then I stole that and ended up just like just walking it into their base and capping and winning. So yep. I still got it. So.
And right now, the number one way of losing Pokemon Unite is teams that are ahead try to take down Zapdos, and the team that is behind steal it and win. As a number one cause of losing right now.
Yeah. So that's what happened, and I'm a natural.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And we're good at MOBAs. So
yeah.
Really quick, people that like Adventure Time, main characters are Finn and Jake. There was a series of episodes in that show where every character in the entire show had a gender swap. Every male character became female, even side characters, extras, background characters. Anytime anyone that you have seen in the show flips genders. And then those episodes are called Fionna and Cake instead of Finn and Jake, where Finn becomes a girl named Fionna, Jake becomes a girl named Cake. Fionna and Cake are getting their own spin-off series. So for those of you that like that show and like those series, Marshall is like a lot of people's, like people love Marshall, the character that is Marcia, Marceline. Marceline becomes Marshall Lee. And yeah, people like him a lot. He plays guitar. He's a really good singer. So people like that character. They're going to see a lot of him. We did the Brianna Stewart. That was one I was going to do here, but we already talked about that because that was fun news that we wanted to mention with the NBA. So the last thing here is we're all doomed. And that's the show. We're all doomed. So Boston Dynamics, they're the people that got famous for making like the robot dog, and everybody's like, oh, it's so cute. Oh, they made a little fake dog thing like robot. Well, they have human, like jacked up, like they were like 6 feet, huge human robots.
Like from like robots from was it iRobot?
iRobot, except bulky, not like slender humans, like ripped, like the big chested. But they
all that's showing up is just pictures of Zumbas, like Roombas.
So Boston Dynamics showed a video of there was one running through a obstacle course and had him like run up along like the side of like these wall things and on like a balance beam, and then as it runs across, there's a second one. and then they both do backflips, and then after the backflips they celebrate. Like one of them's like whoa, and the other one's like like they can celebrate after they complete something. And they're clearly huge and heavy, and like obviously that's a program they have to run in order to like do anything. You think for now.
Get major Ultron vibes from it, or
it was very intense.
Like
I obviously don't believe in like a robot uprising, but
if you did, would you think there would be a leader like Ultron? Would you think there'd be a leader like Ultron, or would be
or an iRobot where it was like a program, like a major brain center that ended up taking over all the other robots?
Wouldn't you think there would be a power struggle between said robots?
Not if that one was the smartest AI. Like you would think that the one that started developing
reset that. It just you cut off for a sec. Reset.
Oh, it would be like the one where they like were the smartest AI, the one that first started developing AI would be the smartest one forever, right?
Sure. Right.
You would assume so.
Right.
So there wouldn't be a power struggle because the smartest AI would always be the smartest one.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that'd be the leader.
All right.
Most likely the Boston Dynamics dog. So, which, I mean, they're being used as police dogs now, where they can scan like the roads and stuff, and then they can like they take pictures, and that goes immediately to the police. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of potential that could happen from these. It was very like, if you did believe in a robot uprising, this video probably terrified you, but like I watched it and I was like, okay. It was very intense. The backflip celebration, I was like, all right, because they have developed some sort of AI where it can recognize things. So like at the Boston Dynamics lab, those dogs wander around freely, unprogrammed. Like they're taught to recognize obstacles, how to go around obstacles, how to go over obstacles, climb stairs, and that sort of thing.
Sure.
So you might be just walking around and the Boston Dynamics dog just might walk by you.
Got it.
Just chilling, doing its own thing. There's a guy
planning your demise.
Right. Yeah. There's a guy who does YouTube that Boston Dynamics will allow you to test out the dog. Like they'll send you one that you can test with. And he's engineer that I follow. His name's Mychal Reeves. And they sent him the dog to test with, and he taught the dog how to pee. He attached like a filtration system, and it peed beer. And he was able to make it so it could aim a beer. All you had to do was set down a cup on the ground. It recognized a cup. It would walk over, aim itself, and then pee beer into your cup. And that's what he did with it. So
fun.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that. We're all doomed. Robots are going to take over. Yeah, nobody's safe.
We're going to need the Avengers.
We're going to need Ultron. Infinity Ultron.
Yes.
Infinite Ultron. But yeah, that's all we got. That's all we got for you today. I thought it was a long episode, but it was a good episode and extremely Marvel heavy, which are always really fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play some games. So
I think so too.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're really close to 20, so let's hit 20. I don't normally do this sort of thing, but let's go for a like goal of 5 likes. Let's try to get 5 likes.
What do we usually get?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So if we can get 5 likes, let's go for that. Yeah, so subscribe and like. Follow us on Twitter if you want to see when these episodes come out. And if you prefer just audio, we do have this audio version always on Spotify and other major networks, other major podcast networks. Yeah, we do this for you. So let us know in the comments or on Twitter what you want to see. Maybe what you had some thoughts on, like our Marvel stuff. Maybe you had some stuff that you think we were wrong on, or that you have your own theories or ideas on, because I love the deeper the theories go. So let us know what you have. I'd love to expand on that. So
yeah,
let us know. Other than that, GG. You're gonna eat string cheese?
No, I don't have cheese. But it's gonna get warm if I don't. So whatever, we'll put it back there.
Put it right next to your fan, your computer fan.
This is how you eat string cheese.